Wasn't that nice? Thank you. Kathleen Walters on piano. And later on voice. Yeah, be nice. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Doggone, welcome to the morning. Welcome to our spiritual community. We talk about being family here, but we are a spiritual community, first and foremost. And family takes that part when we treat each other like family. That's what we're doing. We're a community that opens our arms to all faiths, all cultures. Now, someone asked me, how do you do that? Don't you know there's enemies out there working against you? I said, well, does God think any less of that person that you call enemy or I call enemy than me or you? And that person asked me, or that person just actually thought about that and said, dang you always say things like that. I said, okay, yeah, okay, all right, anyhow. Is there anyone visiting us for the very first time? Right here. Nice, glad you made it here today. We have a packet of a program here of materials that Claire would be bringing to you to take a look at. There's some good information in there. There's the Science of Mind magazine to look at, and that's a great thing to look through, I'll tell you. So we hope you like what you see, hope you like what you hear. We hope you come back. Yeah. I'll do my best. All right, that sounds good. Up here, Claire, this young man right here at the front, hiding from your view back there, right here.
He's the A student.
One more.
He's the A student. He's sitting in the front.
Okay. Well, we got a great morning opening up here at Salem's First and Finest Center for Spiritual Living right here. Kathleen this morning, we're going to have a praying, we're going to have a reading, we're going to have, we're going to have a talk that's going to knock your ears off, yeah. So if you have your hearing aids on, turn them down a little bit, okay, yeah. Because when Rev Maur gets cranked up and going, he gets cranked up and going. Good. Okay, but before we get started, why don't we honor our birthday people who's going to have a birthday in August? Is there anyone here who is a birthday person in August? Oh, one. Claire. Two back here. Oh, right here is three. My darling wife has a birthday. Now, she has a thing open at Macy's. You can go in where she's signed in there. Her birthday's on August the 10th. Okay, just thought you might want to know that.
What size is she?
What size is she? We were in yesterday, and we picked up for a birthday present 3 wonderful summer pajamas. Yeah, colorful, wonderful, fit her just right. Okay, why don't we take a look at some important announcements here? And to do that, why don't we sing Happy Birthday instead? Oh, can you play Happy Birthday?
I can't, but I can sing it.
Let's sing it then. Would you lead us for that?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
bless you. Happy birthday to you. Yes. Give you a hand. We're glad you decided to come into this world and are here right now. So now I think we can read some announcements, because we do have some important ones to announce. And I don't have a program. Somebody took my program and decided they would use it and said, thank you, I'll give it back to you. No. Okay, so we are going to have an outdoor service. Did you all know that for sure? Rev Maur didn't know that, but we're telling him now, aren't we? Blaine and Annie are going to be our musicians. We're going to have Rev Maur and Julie and myself right up front there, having fun. I started to say making fun of ourselves, but having fun. And it's going to be a good time. Now, what we'd like you to think about doing is just come there. Come and join us. And bring your own chair if you got one, okay? An outdoor chair, so you can sit down. We'll have a few there, but it sure helps when you bring your own chair. Okay, you got your seat with you there, right? Oh, your steed. Got it, okay. Well, it's going to be the last Sunday in this month, the last Sunday in August. So Be there or just be square. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot. Okay. I really didn't know the date. Thanks a lot. Okay. So some more announcements here. Next week, Rev Maur Horton is going to speak on the water of life. If you've never heard Rev Maur Horton, you might want to try him out. Okay. Okay, so please join us for hospitality after the morning service. We always have a good time down there. And we have this fundraising event. We really, it's an important event, but it's also fundraising, which is a rummage sale. And in that, and if there's anything you want to say about it, Kathy, that I'm not going to say here, yeah, I thought it might.
We're going to have a short meeting in the library out here today, right after service. I don't
Okay.
see it taking very long, but anybody that wants more information, we're trying to develop the details right now. So if you just meet out here after.
Right out in the library.
Yeah.
Y'all get that? Meet in the library?
We're also just asking if anybody has a pickup truck that wants to help, maybe with
Oh.
things that people might need help with.
Yeah.
If so, stick around for this meeting and let us know.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Well, that's going to be fun. So future events, watch for details about visioning. Is anyone familiar with visioning? Okay. If you're not, come and join this. We're going to give you some more information about that as time goes on. It's coming up in September, and it's something that's very powerful in people's lives who have experienced it. So think about being a part of that. We'll talk to you later. Let's see, what else is going on here? Okay. Well, why don't we move right along with our next, what are we going to do here? Oh my gosh, we're going to sing a song. Why don't we sing with Kathleen?
Let's sing.
Yeah. And you know what? We can stand up and do that. That would
would be
feel
great.
good, wouldn't it?
And you know, it's interesting. I was listening to the meditation. I was out there studying, and the first song that you sang was the beginning of this song, "Morning is Broken." So I'm going to sing the first verse with you, but you're on your own in the second and third verse because I need to pay more attention to the piano when the words are like one word down. So you're going to sing the second and third verse all by yourself without me. I'm sure you can do it. All righty, here we go. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the singing, praise from the word. Sweet the beautiful.
You don't have to give yourself a hand or applause or anything. That's fine. You know you were good, right? Thank you, Kathleen, for helping us. Oh, there's an applause back there. Now, you know what we do here before we get too far along, we like to pray ourselves in. And we usually have a practitioner. We have a brand new practitioner this morning who will be a part of our practitioner team and our spiritual team for a long time, we hope. She's from another part of the world, actually not too far away in California. Her name is Cheryl Guess, and let's give a hand as she comes forward to pray for her. First time.
I'd like for you to join me by, first of all, just taking in a deep breath and knowing that the Spirit of God, all of creation, is in that breath. And as we go forward today, I recognize that I am an expression of this Spirit. I am an individualization of this perfect universal energy. And I am ready with an open heart to express all the attributes of God, the love, the light, the life, the joy, and the beauty, all of the things that I am by my nature, by being this perfect expression of the Spirit. And I know that today is a mighty day, a beautiful day, ready with open hearts and an open mind. We just express God in every aspect, all of our lives, all of us. As I know I am, I know that each spiritual being that is present here today also is that Spirit. And so I just know as we go forth, nuggets of wisdom will come forth. Our hearts are ready and open to hear everything that is being expressed. And so with so much gratitude in my heart, I just release this to the law of mind, knowing that God is present and it is so. And so please join me now in saying, and so it is. I'd like to share our affirmation with you for today. Since I believe everything in nature moves in circles, what goes out must come back. Therefore, I love and love returns to me. I extend joy and I am surrounded by joy. The universe is saying yes to all I believe, and so it is.
Yes, so it is. I feel prayed in. Thank you, Cheryl. That was wonderful. Now we'll have an inspirational reading. Rich, would you come forward? This is out of the Science of Mind magazine from last month. And Rich was here last month and gave us come forward, Rich, gave us a affirmation, and he's going to give us a reading now.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Richard Gorman. I'm studying to be a chaplain. My name is Richard Gorman. I'm studying to be a chaplain. I've come to this church for what you would call an endorsing agent. So I can get a job when I'm older as a chaplain anywhere. So I'm learning. And I've been asked to do a reading today, so I'm going to finish it today. I started it, and I messed it up last week. Let's get into it. The wonder of relationships. You are a child of innocence, born to wonder all your days. Do not believe it to be a gift that you lost somewhere along the way, as if the hurts you have done or that were done to you could steal its light from the center of your soul. Innocence is hope. It is vision. It is love. Bishop Stephen Charleston. Nothing is real to us unless we make it real. Nothing can touch us unless we let it touch us. Refuse to have the feelings hurt. Refuse to receive anyone's condemnation. In the independence, of your own mentality, believe and feel that you are wonderful. This is not conceit, it is truth. That's Ernest Holmes. Science of Your Mind, page 307. So the body reads, as humans, we are relational, designed to connect with each other on many levels. It is through relationships that we discover more about who we are and who we came here to be. This aspect of, of being filled with wonder. But we must come to see it from the perspective to fully, from that perspective, to fully realize that truth. You're here to have a good time. Often our earliest relationships condition us to see ourselves as flawed or dismissed. Our growth into adulthood is often about reconnecting with a deeper truth, that we are one with Spirit and worthy of all good simply because we exist. For many, this is a lifelong journey. Just as relationships can lead to negative self-images, they also can be a path to the realization of good. What is important is what we bring to relationships in terms of our inner self-identity. Our priority must always be the realization of our own divine connection to the worthiness arising from that. Our birthright is as precious being of divine origin. No one can take that away. But we can become blinded to it. Our spiritual growth is about clearing the lens of perception to see our unlimited truths. We can see this for ourselves and be in relationships with others who can see it for themselves, each also seeing it for the others. We are in healthy relationships. Then the wonder that we are is more fully realized, and we are being who we came here to be. The affirmation says that I am one with the wonder of my life. My relationships are healthy, loving, and supportive. I bring my best self to my relationships, learning and growing in the process.
Could I have any more music? That would be great. We love you, Kathleen. Thanks for that voice you bring to us.
No, this later.
Okay.
This is the beginning, something new has begun, like a seed that's growing and warmed by the sun. I spread my arms to heaven, I am ready to fly. I catch the wind of spirit as I send into the sky. How far can I go? How high can I fly? Is there an adventure that I will not try? Nothing can constrain me. Your spirit made my wings. I'm free to fly beyond my wildest dreams. Ooh, the lowly caterpillar seems not to survive. Trapped within a tight cocoon, they are no signs of life. Yet deep within this darkness, something pulses within. In time a wonder will emerge, a glorious butterfly. How far can it go? How high can it fly? Is there an adventure that it will not try? Nothing can constrain it. Its spirit makes it wings. It's free to fly beyond its wildest dreams. In life we are called to take a chance, but it's really no chance at all. There is wisdom to be gained every time we rise and fall. Rise and fall. How far can I go? How high can I fly? Is there an adventure that I will not try? Nothing can constrain me, for spirit made my wings. I'm free to fly beyond my wildest dreams. Beyond my wildest dreams. Watch me fly, watch me fly, watch me fly.
Let's fly. Ooh, thank you, thank you. I want to acknowledge the beauty and the wonder that has come to us this morning from so many different people. Ruth was singing her meditation this morning, I remember that. And our friend Cheryl Guest gave such a beautiful invocation and all. And Reverend Don did a magnificent job of introducing things. And who have I forgotten? Anyone? Richard. Oh, Richard, thank you for your wonderful reading about relationships, Richard. That was really great. Thank you. This morning, I submit that each one of us is a bit of divine magic. A bit of divine magic born from the infinite love of God. How many of you were here last week when Jerry Braza gave his talk? Quite a few. Wasn't that great? Yeah, I loved what he said. You are great, wonderful, and rare. And we truly are great, wonderful, and rare. Today's one-sentence affirmation is this: I am one with all the life on planet Earth. I am one with all the life on planet Earth. That is the theme that we're working with today. Can everybody hear me all right so far? Yes, over here, and a question mark from my friend over here. Your hearing aids are working or not working? Oh, dear. Well, that does make it more difficult. I will try to speak up a little, but I don't want to blow anybody out of the room. Okay. Jerry gave us a really great foundation last week for our talk today. And the whole month of August is devoted to the theme of living everyday wonder in nature. So we're going to talk a little bit about nature today, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to approach nature. So what do we mean by nature? Well, nature is a really large concept. Ernest Holmes writes in his Science of Mind, nature is the body of God. Oh, Okay, nature is the body of God. If nature is the body of God, it participates in the divine qualities of God, does it? Does it not? Now, we might think of nature as an unspoiled creation, as a living landscape, without anything that would be maybe showing human intervention. That sounds pretty good. Don't you think of a picture, maybe a painting, or a picture you've seen of the mountains or the rivers and all that? But the problem with that last part of the definition, without human intervention, is that we are part of nature. We are a living, breathing example of what nature is. If you want to see us, look at nature. If you want to see nature, look at us. So, what I think we want to know is that our inner beingness is connected with all beingness through the fact that all that there is this divine beingness. All right? So, what we want to look at for the moment is the topic for today. Does anybody remember reading it? It's on the front of the program. Earth Force, report for duty. Well, this concept of Earth Force, report for duty, really, I think, reinforces the idea that we are part of nature, and nature is part of us. So we'll be talking about that. Now, this morning, with Michelle G. Mateo's help, I hope to lead us to a more profound understanding of how connected we are to nature. I believe we are nature's human consciousness. We are nature's consciousness, yes. And I know that Michelle has some poems. Did you know Michelle writes poems? Anybody know that? Some people know that. Yeah. She's written them, I think you said, since the age of 8? And she has some poems that she would like to read to us this morning that include nature. Michelle?
And I'll just preface this is mostly referring to 2020, I think that year. For just a moment, nature breathed a sigh. For just a moment, the human din was quieted. The earth timidly came out of the shadows. It stretched and yawned and looked around and cried tears of joy, relief. It stretched its branches. The human plague sequestered could now hear her sounds of her stirring. Songs long forgotten above their noise and chaos could be heard. Waters cleansed by her tears flowed clearer. She blossomed as she began to heal. Humans barely noticed. Mother Nature had sent them to their rooms. Slowly emerging from cocoons that had shrouded their vision, they peered out as if sighted for the first time. Some ventured out. Memories stirred. They saw nature, how she's supposed to be. They reveled with her quietly. Then those who still, blinded by glut and greed, could not see the wonder of her miracles, defied her time out, pushed and tugged at her. She dug her heels and tried again. And the second one is, in all of nature you are there, in the lacy moss to the tallest tree, in the barren desert to the shining sea.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. Nature. Nature is just a wonderful, wonderful part of our experience. Today's topic is really a call to action, I think, right? Earth Force, report for duty. We will explore this duty together a little bit. I ran across a quote from Albert Einstein. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. That sounds pretty brilliant, doesn't it? I wonder if it's true. Maybe we'll find out today, okay? Today we're going to take a quick dive into nature. And in this process, I'll mention some things that we can do to help nature recover from things that have occurred. Some of them from humanity's side, maybe some of them from other sources like hurricanes and so forth like that. Now, we want to also bolster our esprit de corps, so I will recognize some approaches that showcases nature's ability to recover and heal itself. Now, the foundation, the dock from which we do our actual dive into nature is that still place that's within each one of us. that consciousness of oneness, that consciousness of goodness, that consciousness of life itself. It is the source of our connection to everything and all people and all activity in the world. Now, we might call this thing many different words. We might call it the infinite, or the divine, or the Christ mind, or the Buddha mind, or infinite potential, or the one that lives within and around us. Now, we may be, as Jerry said last week, mediocre mystics, but nonetheless, here in this place, within ourselves, in our heart of hearts, in our soul of soul, in our higher self, in our higher beingness, we are one with all life. And that is true because God is all there is. An ancient Greek philosopher, Zeno, declared, "The goal of life is living in agreement with nature." Okay. Living in agreement with nature. I believe one of the ways we can be in tune with nature is to serve others. It seems paradoxical that our inner healing journey, of discovering this inner goodness, begins the journey to heal our planet. As we heal ourselves, we learn to operate from that quiet space within, and healing our families and our communities, our nation, and our world. As Diana Ensign put it in this month's Science of Mind, when people heal, the earth likewise benefits from our healthier collective choices. Individually and collectively, then, we play a role in healing our planet. I'm always looking for good stories to tell during our talks. I ran across one this week. I think it was on the evening news. I'll ask you a question first. Has anyone here ever been a lifeguard? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3? 3 of us? Okay. All right. I have. My son has. And I actually once saved a friend's life when he got into water deeper than he expected. Perhaps you too, in your own way, have helped people to survive. In any case, Spirit led me to this news story about a lifeguard who served in a very unusual way. Through her training to serve as a lifeguard at the Longmont, Colorado YMCA swimming program, she acquired the necessary skills and honed her positive mindset, her confidence. Have any of you ever heard of a young lady by the name of Natalie Lucas? Carol. All right. Anyone else? Okay. Natalie Lucas is an 18-year-old lifeguard at the YMCA in Longmont, Colorado. On Sunday, July 24th, a couple walked in. Tessa Ryder, 9 months pregnant, entered the YMCA pool, accompanied by her husband, Matthew Jones. They had found throughout her pregnancy that if she was in the pool, it would relieve the pressure on her hip nerve, and she had a lot of pain there, so when she was in the water and buoyant, it relieved that. So they'd been there several times. Now, as she was using a floaty, anybody ever used a floaty before in the pool where you kind of just go along? Okay. She was using the floaty and just floating. All of a sudden, she went into labor. She said in her interview, "It dawned on me I wasn't going to make it to the hospital. He, the baby, was coming out right then and there." Now, she managed to crawl out of the pool about 5 feet, but she was on the apron of the pool. And of course, being an alert lifeguard, Natalie saw something was going wrong right away. And she said, "Her husband tells me that they are having a baby right now." All right, that sounds good. The adrenaline kicks in, and right then and right there, and Natalie springs into action. She called 911 and the front desk for more help, and she grabbed the poolside medical kit and then some towels and brought everything there. Now, in her interview, Tessa said, that's the mom, she was there to do anything that we asked, and that is exactly what she did. It was perfect. In an interview, Natalie said, "All right, I needed to help them. It was the quick thinking. I needed to get them some medical assistance. This is my job." Ooh, okay, delivering babies? Oh, well. Moments later, here came Tobin. He was born, and he was okay. Natalie had never seen a baby born before. Matthew Jones, the dad, said, "I liken Natalie's presence to be like a doula or a midwife. She was super focused on Tessa. So in that moment, I did not have to worry about my wife. I could direct the entirety of my focus onto Tobin and what Tobin needed to be safe and healthy. Well, the newscast cut to a picture of mom and dad with baby and a thumbs up from the lifeguard, taken by a Y member shortly after the delivery on the poolside. Then on August 4th, the grateful parents were sending photos and videos back and forth to Natalie, and the mom said, "Glad the people that were there, and I wouldn't trade it for the world." Dad Matthew said, "I would not trade Natalie for anyone." Natalie said, "I do hope to send the little guy birthday cards here and there. It's definitely something we won't forget." I don't think they'll forget that, do you? That's pretty good. The announcer was kind of wrapping up the story and said, "Natalie and baby Tobin have bonded forever." This is a memory that Natalie will certainly take with her as she enrolls in San Diego State University, studying criminal justice and swimming for a recreational team. Natalie closed her interview by saying, "This experience will make me a better lifeguard." Do you agree? You think it would? She's able to respond to most anything, right? Oh gosh, Natalie's skills and self-confidence helped bring a new life into a loving family environment, into a nature that's tuned to support the infants. What joy. What joy. Now, all of us have something we can do to serve others and thus improve ourselves and help make our communities better. It may be or may not be as dramatic as helping deliver a baby, but it's meaningful, right? It's meaningful. And you know what? It could be as simple as just volunteering to help with our rummage sale that Kathy was speaking of earlier. Now at this point, I'd like to take a few minutes to address some of the larger issues in our environment. I do believe that saving a life and helping a family arguably does help our planet. In fact, I think that this story actually illustrates one of the very basic reasons we care about nature, we care about the planet. We want a better place for us to live, yes, but for our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren and our descendants to live. Right? We want a really wonderful place for them to live. We'd like to know that healthy people are born into a healthy world forever, if possible. Now, people sometimes feel that environmental problems are too big for little old me to make a difference. There are things we can do. There are things we can do as we report for duty as an Earth Force, right? Let's take a quick look at some of them. We are most probably familiar with a phrase that was hanging in our kitchen. It might still be there, I'm not sure. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Anybody heard that before? Yeah. Reduce, reuse, recycle. I think you all know what that one means, right? I don't need to explain that one. Now, my chorus, the Oregon Senate Airs, does its part. We collect cans and bottles and recycle them. And this brings in some money for the chorus, but most importantly, it helps our environment. In fact, our center also recycles, letting the money go to the person who takes the plastic bottles and cans to the recycling center. Now, there are some other things that we can do that are probably not quite so familiar. Now, this may sound a little strange to some of you, but I think it really works, and I know some of you do it. And this is buy organic, locally grown vegetables. Does anybody shop in the farmers markets at all? Okay, some of us are doing that, right? This is just a delicious way to get wholesome ingredients into our bodies. It also means less pesticide because these things are grown naturally, and less gas and oil used in transportation. So we can make a difference by buying local, organic grown vegetables. And again, speaking of diet or eating, adopting a plant-based diet and eating less meat, particularly beef, will contribute in much the same way. I do like my steak, though. Oh, well. I'm not a vegetarian myself, although sometimes I find my breakfast and my lunch are composed entirely of plant-based things. Peanut butter sandwich. That's kind of vegetarian. Yeah. One of my sons has his family, in fact, his whole family is vegetarian now, pretty much all the time. I think he likes it because not only does it help the planet and provide good food and all that, but it also saves him money, and he likes to save money. That's really important. When we engage in healthier habits, the planet grows healthier, okay? Now, here's a little different approach. And I found this one in the Science of Mind magazine for this month. You may want to take a copy of that. It's a good magazine. Let me ask a question of you. What do you really love? You don't have to answer out loud. But what do you really love? Is there something you love? Do you love your children? Your grandchildren? Your nieces and your nephews among them? Would you say yes to that? Oh, yes. Okay. Now, one of the things we could do, and this is a little different, we could advocate for our schools to start using solar panels to produce electricity for the classrooms. And then we could encourage people, we could encourage the teachers and the staff to bring the children into the planning process enough so that they know what's going on. So we benefit the children in two ways. Now, we can also encourage curricula in the schools that help children learn about balance in nature, how air and water quality are affected by our society. I'll bet many of us love green spaces. Is anybody here who likes green spaces? Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, good. Trees and woods are prominent in the Pacific Northwest. In fact, that's part of the reason I think we live here. What do they say? Washington, the evergreen state. Oregon says it too. Oregon, the evergreen state, right? And do we not all attend Woodland Chapel? Yeah, so there you go. Perhaps we would like to see, and I know this has happened, native plants planted on our grounds, these native species. Do you remember that Kathy Prather led an effort to do just that? She arranged for school children to come and plant native species on our stream bank. And they did, and we're grateful for it. I don't know how many years, 10 years ago? It's been quite a while. Many of those plants survive to this day. So we have native plants growing down there. Now, it may be that your passion for trees and green space is really strong and you want to join a conservation group. I just did a quick look on the internet. There are 3 of them based in Salem, if you want to do that. Now, our deep meditations reveal the unity of life and how interconnected we are with God and with nature. When we buy a house, a car, when we buy cleaning supplies and appliances and such, we can choose to consider the environmental impact of our purchases. You see, our actions as consumers can influence how business is conducted on our behalf, and it comes out of that deep, deep interconnection to all life. Now, let's broaden our perspective here a little bit. Often when we consider global issues like plastics, or the health of our oceans, and even health issues like dementia, we look only at the problems. I'd like to take a little different approach this morning and look at some of the solutions that are emerging even as we talk. Now, anybody here ever use one of these little puppies? Plastic bottles. Plastic bottles are, they're all over the place. They really are. And do you know that less than 25% of plastic bottles worldwide are recycled? Yeah. There's a lot of reasons for that. Partially it's cost and inconvenience, and it takes thoughtfulness. Plastic bottles. A French company, GGN, has discovered leaf-based enzymes that dissolve polyethylene terephthalate, the most common form of plastic bottle. This method can also reduce greenhouse gases by up to 30% in the process of recycling because it requires less mechanical work. It is very attractive to corporations that need to demonstrate their environmental responsibility. Now, GGN's Carbios demonstration plant, about the size of a cargo van, reduced 220,000 pounds of plastic in 10 to 16 hours. That's a lot of plastic. This process separates the polymers into monomers and separates polyethylene glycol from terephthalic acid. So GGN now plans to open an industrial-sized plant in 2025. So some good news. Plastics can be handled and reduced. In fact, what's produced out of that actually is really close to what they make plastic out of in the first place. So there we go. Now, does anybody like garbage patches here? garbage patches. How about in the ocean? Garbage patch. Have you heard of this? There are garbage patches in the ocean? Yeah. Okay. Are you all right?
I'm just adjusting.
Oh, I thought you fell asleep. I'm sorry. The oceans of the world cover approximately 72% of the Earth's surface. They house many marine animals, from little tiny organisms to the largest animal, the blue whale. Oceans play a major role in sustaining the Earth. Our whole cycle of water and all of that sort of thing cycles through the ocean. There are huge plastic garbage patches on the surface of the oceans. The Pacific garbage patch is estimated to be double the size of the state of Texas. That's large. This area contains more than 3 million tons of plastic. The patch contains approximately 6 pounds of plastic for every pound of phyllo. I'm getting this crazy thing here on my phone. Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't hear that, did you? No. Oh, good. The advantage to having hearing aids. Okay. Sometimes when I get really animated, my phone thinks I'm talking to it. There's also a garbage patch in the Atlantic, and it's really harming the environment. So last year, there's a whiz kid who lives, I believe, in Luxembourg. His name is Boyan Slat, S-L-A-T. He announced that the Great Pacific Garbage Patch can now be cleaned after a prototype cleaning system proved successful. Since deployment in August of 2021 until May, it's now collected 220,000 pounds of plastic over 45 extractions. So all we need is 1,000 more of those trips to get those cleaned up. You can find information about that on a website called The Ocean Cleanup, all lower caps. The Great Barrier Reef. Have you heard about coral bleaching before? Yeah. Where did I put that? What did I do with it? There it is. I prevailed upon our wonderful poet, Michelle G. Mateo, to provide us just a little sample of coral. This came from Caribbean? From Maui. Okay. That's a little tiny thing. I'll leave them in the box here and you can kind of look at them. But I just wanted to, coral is very interesting. Any of you ever done scuba diving? Some? Okay. Well, coral is an interesting part of that experience. The northern and central Great Barrier Reef near Australia have recorded their highest amount of coral cover since the Australian Institute of Marine Science began monitoring 36 years ago. The average increase was 7 to 9% year over year. They sampled 87 different reefs and found that the reefs had increased their coral cover, which is really amazing. That gives real hope for the ability for the ocean to regenerate these wonderful life forms. Do you have something on water that you'd like to read, Michelle?
Okay, I'll just say bear with me because I tried to type it bigger so I could read it, but that doesn't always work. I love you drops fell from the sky to kiss the earth as they flowed by. Precious rain, wet and wild, you play symphonies at night upon my roof, gurgling down the drain, flowing with all those precious drops to streams and creeks and my rivers ever flowing to the sea where you are finally set free. Downpours torrential rain, your life-giving drops can also cause pain, in absence or abundance. Yet, Sacred Mother, to us all, when you choose to fall, you spread the drops of love into her beautiful soil, into her inner being where she feeds the trees and flowers, birds, bees, and all. Oh yes, when those precious drops fall, it's a gift to us all.
Thank you, Michelle. Water, 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 water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Well, something said that. That's not the point. We do depend on that cycle, a water cycle. I'd like to talk about one more area. We'll move from physical science to health. Now, I know some of us have had direct experience with dementia in our families. It takes a terrible toll. I've seen it. A large study of over 500,000 people in Great Britain gives us clues as to how we might prevent and perhaps slow dementia. It's the simple things. Cooking, cleaning, and gardening may be linked to reducing your risk for developing Alzheimer's by more than 1/5, by 21%, according to this new research. The study involved 501,376 people from a UK database who did not have dementia, and they started the study at an average age of 56. The study followed these folks for 11 years, and at the end of the study, 5,185 people had developed dementia, about 1%. After adjusting for all the statistical factors like smoking and whatever, these tendencies proved to be solid. People who were highly engaged in activity patterns, including frequent exercises, household chores, and daily visits of family and friends, had respectively if it was involved with exercise, a 35% less chance of getting dementia. If it was involved in household chores, a 21%, and if it was involved by visits by family and friend, 15% lower risk of dementia. Now, we could like more ways that we can help nature heal, but our time together will soon draw to a close. I believe it's in our hearts to hand down a highly livable planet to our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Humanity has the opportunity to take steps to reduce at least the environmental stressors that humanity itself has introduced into the environment. Now, to be effective, I believe all of our cleanup must start in with ourselves as we clean our toxic thoughts, beliefs, and practices. I call that like our internal environment. When we do this, we learn to think and act from that center, that divine center of goodness and life and love that lives in our hearts, our higher self. Now, from this starting point, we can, as we've mentioned, follow our passion first and develop a plan to implement the vision we see. We can identify and perform some type of service that will make a difference to ourselves and to others. We can reduce, reuse, and recycle. We can eat a plant-based diet, maybe doing less of that meat stuff. Consider the environment when making purchases like houses, cars, and major appliances. We can share the positive information about how nature heals itself. This encourages our earth force to keep going. In all, we act from love, for love is the key to life. And we know that all life is the implosion of that infinite life force into expression as the universe, as nature, as each of us. So giving of oneself is loving. By giving, serving, and compassionate action, we can improve the psychological, social, and even the physical environment. Now, I have here this morning, somewhere, what did I do with it? Oh, I put it over here, a pledge of our earth force. I'm going to hand it out. Yeah, please. Take these. Okay, great. So these. Take them. Take them all. Okay. Now, if we're going to be an earth force and we're going to report for duty, I think it's good for us to have a kind of a concept of what we're really trying to do. And that's what this is. I call it an Earth Force Pledge. And I will read it, and then I'll ask you all to read it with me, okay? The first of it is, we the people of planet Earth, respecting the dignity of each human life, providing for future generations, and appreciating our oneness with all life on planet Earth, pledge our commitment and our resolve to work together in harmony with nature to enhance the quality of life everywhere. You got with that one? Let's read that together. Let's take that pledge, okay? We, the people of the planet Earth, respecting the dignity of each human life, providing for future generations, and appreciating our oneness with all life on planet Earth, pledge our commitment and our resolve to work together in harmony with nature to enhance the quality of life everywhere. I adapted this from a Declaration of Interdependence by Russell W. Peterson. You're welcome. As we report for duty, our earth force grows. As our force grows, the babies that are born into the world can grow up in a healthier, more peaceful, sustainable environment. Now, whether a baby is born beside a swimming pool at the YMCA or a hospital birthing center or at home, it doesn't really matter. When we support nature, the child can have the opportunity to be part of a nature that's healthy, a nature that is able to adjust to humanity's growth, a nature that supports the child's health, a nature that is treasured by all of humanity, and a nature which in turn cradles humanity's growth and well-being. My beloved friends, each of us is a bit of divine magic born from the infinite love of God. You are great, you are wonderful, and you are rare. Remember our affirmation: I am one with all of life on planet Earth. Namaste. All right, Kathleen. Pardon me? Thank you very much. Thank you, Neil.
Okay, if you know me, you know I like audience participation. So who does not have this Seek Ye First page? It was in your bulletin. A couple people. Reverend Don, would you hand it out to the people that don't have it? Or you put your hand up if you don't have it. Seek Ye First. Put your hand up if you want one. Put your hand up. I hope I gave you enough. I have more if I didn't. It should be in your bulletin, but if you didn't get it, hold your hand up. There's a couple more. And I think there's one more. Did everybody have it now? One more. Okay, here's the plan. There's 2 verses here. One starts with Seek You First the Kingdom of God. We're going to sing that twice. The first time I'll sing it with you. The second time you sing it, I'm going to sing a little obligato above it. Okay, so 2 times. Then you're going to sing the next verse, Ask and it shall be given, twice. The same thing. I'll sing it with you once, and then I'll sing an obligato while you sing it by yourself on the thing. And then I think we sing the first verse again, if I'm not mistaken.
We don't have one.
Okay.
Anyone else need one?
Okay, so you're ready? Now you got to think about it. You sing the first verse twice, the second verse twice, and then the first verse one more time. Okay, let's hope it flies. All right, track 4. Remember, supposed to get track 4.
You want people to stand for this?
Yeah, stand. You sing better when you stand.
I think you do.
Remember, you sing it all with me the first time. And here we go. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness,
May be seated. Well, now comes the fun part of the service. We get to share our goodness with all of our community. So at this time, I would like, maybe, who would like to take this up? Greg and Susie, would you like to do the offering today? That'd be okay? All right. Okay. Each of us has the opportunity to, how would I say, cycle the goodness of life. And let's take this opportunity today to do that. And let's read our offertory blessing, which is on the program. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
Let's sing our offering song. I am so
blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so
grateful. I am so blessed. Want to sing it again? I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
The universe supplies. Nature provides all that we need to live in harmony and joy. As we take this lesson to our hearts and embrace our love of nature as a love of self, a love of neighbor, a love of God, we know that all good things come to us, flowing over and over any perceived amount. For the goodness of God is the graciousness of nature and the love of life that lives in our hearts. This is the truth. Let us accept these gifts here this morning in the spirit of truth and freedom and love. And let us say together, and so it is. All right, let's say our prayer of protection. That's the next thing on the agenda here. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The presence of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Again, let's stand and sing this time our peace song.
Now,
The words are in the
Are
program.
we allowed to hold hands?
If you want to, or
If
if
you
you feel
want to,
comfortable.
hold hands, and if you want to, even stretch across the aisle and hold hands. I know during the COVID, we weren't supposed to touch each other, but, if you feel comfortable, hold somebody's hand. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Let us walk in that divine nature which lives in our hearts and surrounds us always. Amen.